Station Street, Kendall Road in Stretford, Manchester, M32 0DZ. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders. This is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. So let's then introduce you to the team on this particular project. It's owned by Brand New Living Limited. Registration number is 11982864 and the director is Colin Gorman. Welcome to the webinar, Colin. Tell us a little bit more about your background.
Yes, Andy, I have been in the construction industry for some 35 years now, and been involved in property development for over 20 of them years. I'm from Ireland, but I am based in Manchester since 2008. So this area is very well known to me.
And you're working on quite a few projects at the moment, aren't you? £12 million worth of developments.
Yes, we are. We have a fair amount of stock under construction in the Greater Manchester area. We're finding high demand in Greater Manchester because it's now very quickly becoming the second city of the country. And we're finding a lot of investment coming up from folk who cannot afford to invest in London, where they see greater value by investing in Manchester and building a portfolio in the northwest area.
Now, just to be clear, you've got two other loans, haven't you, with CrowdProperty, albeit in different SPVs, and those are at Churchgate in Salford and Cheadle-Hulme.
We do indeed, Andy. These are similar type developments to the Stretford development, but geographically are about 5 miles in either direction, so no conflict of interest whatsoever. The Stretford development that we're now talking about, we have 9 of the 10 reservations taken and exchanges are pending. The last one we have under offer and are just going through the AML checks with the solicitor to get it reserved and it progressing to exchange. So yes, a fair bit of stock in the Manchester area and wanting to bring on more.
Now, your manager of operations is Kevin Patrick, and I'm delighted to say he joins us too. Welcome to the webinar, Kevin. Tell us a little bit more about your experience.
I've been in construction and property development for 45 years now, mainly residential property. I've worked all over the UK and in Europe. My background is I'm a qualified civil engineer and qualified in construction as well.
So this project is the third phase raise of 4, where CrowdProperty has agreed a development loan facility totaling £835,000. That's to construct 5 apartment buildings in Stretford, Manchester. Phases 1 and 2 raised £383,000. And these funds have been used towards the purchase of the site and sinking of the foundations. The lenders are going to receive interest at the end of the loan term at the rate equivalent to 8% per annum, and the loan end date is targeted for the 19th of June 2021. Let's start though to look at the background of the area, and start off please, Colin, by telling us a little bit more about Kendall Road in Stretford.
Yeah, Kendall Road is in close proximity to the canal and to the marina in Stretford. It's also very close to the railway station. You can, tell by the name, Station Road. It's also a stone's throw from Old Trafford, which is Manchester United's football ground, and it's becoming quite an affluent area.
And the airport's not too far away either, is it?
No, it's about 3 miles away, and it's just up the M60.
And the local area has the local things as you would expect, supermarkets and other amenities such as the shopping centres and all those kinds of things. Now, planning permission has been granted by Trafford Borough Council. Their planning reference is APP stroke Q4245 stroke W stroke 17 stroke 3179935, where permission has been granted to build 5 apartment buildings containing a total of 10 residential apartments with the associated parking and outside areas that have access from Kendall Road to the south. And the planning conditions have been discharged. Once the construction is completed, the development will provide 10 units and the estimated GDV is £1.525650 million. The maximum loan term on this phase is 14 months approximately, and this project is already first charge secured. The exit strategy is that on completion of the works, the borrower will then sell the individual units. Here's the location plans to show you, so by way of a map. On the left-hand side, you can see where the CrowdProperty flag is pointing to Stretford and where that is in relation to Manchester. And on the right-hand side, you can see the slither of land that goes along the road. And we will look in more detail as to how the property is going to be laid out on that particular site. So the property then located in the southwestern area of Manchester, predominantly a residential area south of the River Mersey, and Stretford itself has those local amenities. There's pubs, large shopping centres, well-known restaurants and cinemas and that kind of thing. There's several schools nearby, and the property is about a mile north of the M60, with Junction 9 being 3 miles west towards Liverpool, about 30 miles away. The local interest, well, in the Trafford Park area of Manchester, is close to those bars and restaurants we talked about earlier. But there's 100+ years of great British industrial history. It's also home to the Marshall Stevens Memorial. Those are the things happening nearby. Here, though, are the street scenes, looking at Block 1, plots 1 and 2. And maybe I can come over to you, Kevin, just to do an overview as to what we're looking at here, and then we'll move on to the other blocks.
Yeah, as you've described, Andy, it's you're looking at blocks 1 and 2 from the front. The ground floor is accessed from the door that you see in the front elevation at the bottom of the screen, and the upstairs apartment is to the door to the right. They're traditionally built with brick fascias, brick outer skin, rendered to the top level, as you can see in the photograph, and blockwork inside. There's concrete floors at the ground floor, and there's a concrete floor at the first floor and slate roofed. There's allocated car parking, which is for the actual residents, and there's also visitors parking there that you can see as well.
And it also appears to be on a slight incline, is that correct?
Yeah, as it progresses along the site, there's a marginal incline. If you look in the bottom of the picture, that's plots 9 and 10, where the footpath goes up towards a bridge, which is going off the picture to the right, which goes over a canal. So that footpath is just sort of raising up to go over it, but the block is set back from that, and very nice location, to be perfectly honest.
I've got some computer generated images here to show. This is the same scene, but one's a day scene and one's a night scene, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah. Again, it's just showing the blocks, how they lie in relation to the local vicinity.
And then on the inside, this is how it might look by way of the kitchen and the lounge area. Are these the type of kitchens that you're going to be fitting in there?
They're exactly what we'll be putting into the units, yes. And that's how it'll be decorated and how it'll be fitted out. It'd be exactly, with the appliances fitted in as well.
So let's then move on to the floor plans. Talk us through these, please, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, basically they're quite a size apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. You come in through the front door, and you have your access to your sort of living and your sort of everyday area, and your kitchen to the left, and then your sort of private, your bathroom and your bedrooms are off to the right. So it's nicely broke up, and it's quite a nice unit there on the ground floor. Obviously, when you come to the unit on the right, which is the upstairs one, you have to come up the stairs and go along a little corridor. But again, it's you know, the living space and the bedrooms are broke up again, as you can see by the little corridor going along to the bedrooms and the bathrooms to the right hand side of the image.
And are all 5 of the different blocks very similar to this kind of layout?
They're all exactly the same, Andy.
So then here is that proposed development where you can see the different blocks on the left hand side listed either ground floor or first floor, the estimated values there of the projects and the size in square footage on the right hand side. So all very similar. The ground floor one's just slightly less. I guess that's because of the bin store, is it? The area at the back of the building.
That's correct, yes.
And then projects are forecast to generate £312,500 profit on this particular transaction. Here are those site photos, and these were taken back in February. It's moved on since then. We've had more independent monitoring surveyors inspections, and this was very much the start of the project, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, obviously what you can see there in the photograph is just a site strip taking place. We're just taking the vegetation off the top of the site and taking the topsoil off to enable works to progress.
And when we then move forward to the more recent photos taken at the inspection in April, and things are starting now to come out of the ground.
Yeah, what you see there is you can see the drainage is installed, the foundations are coming in, and it's ready for the floors to be concrete floors to be poured there.
So here is the report. It was dated the 22nd of April. I'm sure things have moved on a little bit since then. We'll find out in just a few moments. But just talk us through and what your thoughts are on this report, Kevin.
The foundation works have progressed, obviously because of the current situation, it hasn't held us up on site. We've managed to still proceed, and things are going very well on site.
Program is 32 weeks, but you expect some slippage because of this pandemic we're currently in. Talk us through a little bit more about that.
There may be a little bit of slippage because of we're having to source materials from wherever we can get them, but hopefully it's not too much of a slippage.
Okay, now this isn't the first project that you've carried out. This is a case study to share here. This is the first of a couple I've got, St. Joseph's Road in Sheffield. Talk us through what you did here.
Yeah, this was 55 new build apartments, Andy. And we done a deal with the landowner that we put down a 10% deposit on the land. He then transferred the land to us and gave us 2 years to complete the development. If we hadn't the development completed within the 2 years, the landowner could come in and repossess all of the development and sell whatever was left over and profit more from our default than he originally would have had. So we sold all 55 flats off plan, built them out in 18 months with 6 months to spare.
Quite a healthy profit as well at 1.8 million.
Yeah, a nice profit there. But yeah, we came across some issues with construction, as you do in construction. But again, the experience of Kevin and myself, you know, if we haven't seen it, it probably hasn't happened.
And then when we look over at the second case study, Cheapside Chambers, very similar type of thing, although different design.
Yeah, part refurbishment, part new build. Again, everything was sold off plan, and we built out the apartment block with deposits, and we then built the housing element with a loan from Larry Capital, who are a Manchester-based company. We went through this again in good timing, and we had the same default clause that the landowner could repossess if we hadn't finished in time. But again, we got out quite early and everyone made a healthy profit.
So let's then come back to this project, the land north of Station Street. And this is the phase 3 raise. It's for £300,000, and that's part of the total facility being provided by CrowdProperty which is £835,000. The first two raises, they totaled £383,000. RICS have verified the land value at the start of the works to be £190,000, and the total gross development value is £1,525,650, with the estimated construction cost being £702,000. The initial day one drawdown was £133,000. That was against the land value of £190,000. So the initial loan to value was 70%. Lenders will be paid interest on this raise at the rate equivalent to 8% per annum. It's rolled up and paid at the end of the loan, with the loan to gross development value, when you exclude the interest, being 54.7%, and when you add in the rolled up interest, 60.8%. This is a maximum loan period of 40 months approximately for this phase raise, and the borrower owns the property with CrowdProperty as the senior debt lender. Now, the strategy there, upon completion of the works, the borrower will look to sell the flats into the open market, and people lending on this project will receive 8% per annum interest. What type of person do you think, Colin, will be buying these apartments from you?
We have had young couples purchase. We have had young professionals. We have had retired pensioners. We have had every person across the spectrum purchase these properties. What we didn't want to do here is we didn't want to open this up to investors, because this is quite a good residential community.
And when you say open it up to investors, you mean open up the flats to be bought by investors, indeed then to rent out?
Yeah. There was too strong a demand here, and what you get sometimes on these higher end apartments in this area, you get a conflict where maybe a tenant is living in one of these units and a pensioner or a young professional couple, and the tenant doesn't view the development the same way that an owner occupier would.
And so the next steps then for people wanting to invest in this project is to make sure, please, that you understand the loan, carry out your own due diligence both on this project and on the development scheme, and then decide how much you would like to lend. CrowdProperty.com is the place to be to pledge on launch. The necessary anti-money laundering checks will be carried out, and then you'll be invited to send your funds to your own online e-wallet when it's called for, and then you'll start earning interest on completion of the loan agreement. So thank you for watching this webinar. This is the project that is the land north of Station Street, Kendall Road, Stretford in Manchester, M32 0DZ. It's the phase 3 of 4 raises. This phase 3 is for £300,000, paying 8% per annum loan, which is rolled and paid at the end, with the project expected to finish around about the 19th of June 2021. So thank you for watching this project. We look forward to you joining us again soon for another crowdfunding opportunity here at crowdproperty.com.